Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, The Real Super Sam. Today is a top 5 stories list and I hope you enjoy. Today, December 2nd, is the channel's 2-year anniversary. Thank you everybody for watching these videos. It's insane I have had a channel and have been an actual YouTuber doing this for 2 years now, with many more to come. Yep, Mr. Rogues just made his list for the top 5 best Parasite stories, but since it's the channel's 2-year anniversary, and Parasite is also my favorite Superman villain, I'm gonna show you all my list. To make it different and more interesting, I'm gonna list off the top 5 best Parasite stories, with the first one, Maxwell Jensen. Some other day, I will talk about the other ones and their great stories. With the Parasite, my favorite thing about him is his powers. All of them basically have the same powers, but the different people that become the Parasite are drastically different characters. With that little bit said, here are the top 5 best Parasite 1 stories. Number 5. Superman's Last Christmas. Christmas is in the air and it's my favorite holiday, so of course I put this story on the list. Superman issue 369, one of the earliest comics I reviewed. Luckily I can talk about it right now with better recording equipment. While Superman is resting, regenerating his powers, the Parasite attacks him in the Fortress of Solitude. Superman easily throws him out into the ocean, but Parasite got all that he needed. After touching Superman and earlier touching a secret agent while dressed as Santa Claus, he is going to blame Clark Kent as a traitor to America, and with that distracting Clark Kent, Superman will be easier to face down. I'm glad that there are Parasite stories that show him as more of a tricky and smart Superman rogue. Parasite gets defeated really easily at the end, but he's drawn great and I love the relationship Superman has with the Parasite. This Maxwell Jensen Parasite story reminds me the most of a Rudy Jones Parasite from Superman the Animated Series. That's kind of why it's at number 5. Number 4. The Power of Parasite. The Parasite's first appearance was in Action Comics issue 340. It opens with Parasite's origin. He is transferring some radioactive waste to get rid of it, then decides to open it because he thinks some payrolls may be hidden in there. When he opens it, he gets contaminated and becomes a human parasite with purple skin and a pruned face. Whenever someone touches him or he touches somebody else, their energy and brainwaves become his. After Maxwell realizes that what he has become, he goes after people over and over again just to stay alive. When Superman flies by him in his apartment one day, he feels all of Superman's energy and becomes obsessed with him, sending him on his destiny to become a Superman villain. The rest of the story with Parasite is just him fighting Superman to get his energy. In his first appearance, he finds out that Superman is Clark Kent and then still remembers it at the end. That's one thing I like about Parasite's powers. He can absorb the person's powers and memories when he takes them in. At the end, Parasite absorbs too much energy and explodes, such a cheap way for him to be stopped. Parasite was always just supposed to be a regular evil bad guy, and being a more serious threat here makes his first appearance stand out more. Number 3. The Parasite's Power Play. Superman issue 286 is a double rogue story with Lex Luthor and Parasite. Today, suddenly one of Lex Luthor's hidden UFOs comes up from the ground and Superman has to stop it. But the thing is, Lex Luthor didn't order it to come out of hiding, and even Superman assumes it wasn't Lex Luthor. Of course, because of the video you are watching, it was the Parasite. 3 days ago, he secretly touched Lex Luthor to steal it, and now he can steal voices, and he can also steal Lex Luthor's command knowledge, and he uses all that to activate his plan of unleashing the UFOs to attack the city and Superman. For his final attack, Parasite sends a bunch of ships in the air to fire at Superman, and even uses a hologram projector to look like Lex Luthor, so Superman will get close enough to him, not knowing that he's the Parasite, so Parasite can touch Superman. What a cool story that has the Parasite, and one of his smartest schemes yet, using Lex Luthor's weapons to fight Superman, including his own superpowers. The ending is very interesting since Parasite loses his powers at the end, at least for the moment. I love this story for Parasite, one of his well-known early appearances. Number 2. The Parasite's Prism of Peril. Superman issue 304, a one-issue story with the return of the first Parasite, being one of his greatest and most unique stories ever. Today, Superman seems angrier than usual, and that is because of his old foe, the Parasite, is back in town. With a new weapon called the Prism of Power, he can drain Superman's energy at a distance and give others the powers of Superman, which he stole, and attack Superman with it. While Superman is carrying a boy around the city, the boy gets controlled by Parasite and starts to fight Superman with the same powers of a Kryptonian. With Superman drained and all on the ground, the Parasite shows himself and starts to fight the Man of Steel. Now, you would think the rest of the issue would just be that fight, but today something has happened with Parasite. His chest all of a sudden burns and he leaves Superman alive. The Prism Parasite is holding has been draining Superman's and his own energy throughout the story, and the reason why is people he has controlled feed from him and Superman's powers. At the very end, it becomes too much and Parasite explodes, presumed dead. I love this story because for a Parasite issue, it's unexpected and Parasite is pretty smart here. He has a grand plan and it almost works. If he had more info on the Prism, another part is the fact that Parasite has to worry about himself and he has his own personal problem here instead of just wanting to fight Superman. Usually Parasite isn't this much of a character by himself in his stories, but here it does a great job. Number 1, the most popular man in Metropolis. Action Comics issue 578 is the first Parasite Maxwell Jensen's greatest story. To say the obvious, this blonde guy is Parasite in disguise. Today we're watching wrestling and he wishes he got praise for beating up the good guy like some wrestlers do. He sees Superman arrive and shakes his hand, taking some of his power. Superman in his bones says he has a bad feeling about today, and yeah, he should have stayed in bed. He saves people from an apartment fire, but they'll ignore him and yell at him for it, even after Superman does good things for them, and stuff like that keeps happening throughout the day. Wherever this guy, Joe Blonde, goes, people seem to swoon him and praise him, like how Superman used to be praised. Superman doesn't find any information about this new guy and questions him. Joe claims it's because Superman is old news, and he's had his time in the sun. Joe stops and ruins a roller coaster ride, sending everyone flying off, and Superman saves them, but Superman gets yelled at and Joe gets praised. Superman figures out and reveals his identity on live TV and has to fight him hand to hand now. Parasite 1's best story is this one because it shows us so much of the Parasite's powers and the way he would act if the roles were reversed between him and Superman. He seems like a typical cool guy when he is praised, and Superman is shamed, something I would not have guessed from Maxwell. The ending is where it shines. Superman exposed that he doesn't need or care about the Parasite, but Superman is the most important thing to a Parasite. He needs Superman. That's why Parasite always comes back to Superman. He acts for Superman like an actual Parasite would to a human. This was such a great Superman tale, and even better that Parasite was the villain. The most character development with Parasite was in this issue, and the greatest Superman Parasite moments as well. Parasite is one of my favorite rogues in comics, and even with the third man, Parasite, the most recent one being my favorite, Maxwell Jensen has some really good adventures with him. Hopefully he gets put into a movie. His powers and look would make him a standout character. And with this video done, thank you all for watching and have a great day.